Love coaching her, she just absorbs everything you tell her and just wants to learn, so he's great. And it's sort of just...
So Molly Gribble, this is your first day on this planet as a Margaret Webb medalist. How did it feel this morning?
Oh, yeah, it was a bit surreal. It was a pretty exciting finish, so probably made it a little bit more sweeter. I mean, Angelique had a ripper year, so credit to her. I knew she was going to have a really strong finish in the end. So, and yeah, she was unreal. So, yeah, it was great to hold on in the end and yeah, pip her at the post by one. So,
100%. Your own season, have you had a chance to look at which games you've polled in? I reckon most medalists do. Are you one of them?
Yeah, look, I'm very reflective of my games, so
Yeah.
I know which ones I've done. I'm pretty happy with myself. I know I had a pretty good start to the season, especially when we went on those wins, got all those wins at the start. So I'd say my first half of the season was probably my strongest. I would say my second half was alright, but I'm my own worst critic, so I sort of look back at a few of them and I'm like, could have probably done better there. And then obviously had a few niggles throughout the end of the season, so got rested in the last round, which is where I was like, oh, Angelique might get me, but yeah, so, you know, my first half was definitely probably my strongest, that's in my opinion. Yeah.
The last time I've just stuffed this camera in your face, I asked you what does Corio mean to you,
Yeah.
right? And that was the first time I think publicly you've opened up to us about what brought this second chapter of your netball career, the positivity of Shayna, the club, the colours and all that.
Yeah.
You're now Corio's first ever Webb medalist, so I've got to ask it again. What does Corio mean to you?
Oh yeah, Corio is like a second family for me now. I mean, when Shayna brought me across, I didn't know what to expect. It was all very new. Like I said, I wasn't going to play netball at all. I'd sort of gone through a rough time and she just put no pressure on me and I thought, why not? Let's give it a go. And, you know, from day one, the girls were just so welcoming and I just was able to create so many good relationships with a lot of the girls. And it was probably a different sort of setting compared to what I was at St Mary's. I was that younger baby there where I was sort of nurtured through, whereas I sort of went to Corio and the roles sort of reversed and I was, you know, nurturing those younger people through, so along with Shayna. So it's been a different change, but a good change and a good challenge. And yeah, I mean, I love the club. I've thoroughly enjoyed my time and like we've slowly worked our way up this ladder and got ourselves in a really good position this year round, and it's probably been my favourite year yet, so yeah.
We'll finish off with what the premiership will mean to you in a second, but expanding even more, there were heartstrings throughout the room, not only with you but also Jess with D-grade. You both opened up on stage, which took a lot of bravery about, you know, the recent passing of your father's. For you it was Andrew in 2020, and yeah, it's a horrible thing to go through. So I've got a two-part question. If he was here today, how would you tell him that you just won the medal?
Oh God, I don't know. He'd be pretty happy. I mean, my mum was pretty ecstatic, but that'd probably say a joke, something along the lines of "you're still living in my shadow" or something, you know. But no, he'd be stoked. He'd be super proud, and I know he'd be watching and seeing how hard I've worked this season and the team has worked. So I know he'd be rooting for us, and yeah, he'd be happy. Yeah.
My second part of that question, you're now a prime example, and this is a statement, of a sportswoman in our region who's actually bounced back from a setback and reached the ultimate. In this case, it's a Webb medal. How does that feel with you being inspiration for girls in their late teens, early 20s, moving forward that might go through setbacks in years to come?
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously losing Dad was tough, but I know that he wouldn't have wanted me to sort of go back into my shell and not play the sport that I loved, and sport that he also loved watching me play. Like, you know, he was there for most games, either him or Mum. Between mine and my brother's footy, they just rotated, so you know, he would want me to keep living, and enjoying my netball and making the most of it. I mean, he was a sports person himself. I probably got most of my genetics from him. Sorry, Mum. But yeah, so he'd be stoked, and he had a huge impact on me from day one. He taught me all the fundamentals and the important aspects of playing team sport and all of that. So I have him to thank for a lot of my talent and success. Yeah.
Well, we've gone over all the factors now. My last question: premiership. Can we get there?
Absolutely. I mean, we got beat, and we got beat well by Winch, and credit to them. They played an unreal game. But you know, the girls, like, we reflected. I personally gave myself the weekend to have a sulk. I was pretty salty with how things panned out. Like, that's never how you want to start a finals campaign. But once Monday rolled around, new week, new mindset. You can't dwell on the past. What's happened's happened. We've just got to look forward now and look at the challenge ahead. And, you know, I thrive on these sort of challenges, so bring on Banner, I say. And they're going to be a tough mob to beat. Like, they've got some quality players across the court, Rosie and Ella, who were both team of the year. So it's going to be a tough game, but we look forward to it, yeah. And we got a lot of positivity and belief in the group still, so yeah.
Like speaking like a true coach, bring on the next 3 weeks.
Thanks, Alex.